I'm 18. I have yet to do anything with anyone. So I have deep insecurities I bring to the table when I decide to throw myself at my older sister's friend. He's in his early 30s. I'm about to start university and cannot go into this no doubt bacchanalian odyssey a virgin. I need to catch up. I have it on my sister's authority that he's up for anything. He has been chosen. The stuff we do together, or rather, the stuff he does to me is nice, but I don't really feel like I know what to do back, and he's not massively insistent. It's okay till I ask if I can kiss him, because, you know, I fancy him and have made the somewhat naive assumption that he fancies me back. He says he has a throat infection. It doesn't occur to me that I can pull him up on this obvious cop-out, but whatever, I'm losing that thing you have to give away, and it doesn't matter that he's not that into me because you're not supposed to care. Years later, I will finally ask him what I've been stewing over all this time. Was it because she felt sorry for me? And he'll say no, but I still won't believe him. The problem is that nice seems to stop for me but carry on for him during the actual sex. It's awkward, void of intimacy, disappointing, but mainly confusing. I'm really confused. But will find myself being perversely glad that I've done it all the same. I will feel a deep sense of invasion that I will ignore. I'll brush it aside because I'll think, there, done, over with. It'll be better next time. It isn't. We do it again a few nights later and it's the same routine, and he utters the words that I will churn over for years to come. He could have shown a bit more enthusiasm. Enthusiasm for what exactly? What can you feel that I can't? By our third encounter, he says, "You're not really into this, are you?" I say no. He says, "You're an all or nothing kind of girl." I say, yeah, though in hindsight, I've never figured out what kind of girl I am. Because that doesn't mean anything. So we just hug instead, and I want to tell him this is actually my favourite part. Being hugged, held. But he said previously that that's nice, but he doesn't really need it. This will fool me for a long time. I'll get confused about, well, if that's all sex is, I'm not bothered about doing it again, but not being held. Whatever. If I'd have gone home at this point, I try not to think about it. It's pointless. My sister turns up unexpected. We make room for her larger-than-life personality because she is confident, sexy, direct. She is my rock, my protector, my favourite. She shares the same blasé attitude to sex as him. I envy her shamelessness. She says, "Am I interrupting something?" And we say no, and because of the conversation we've just had about whatever that was, we're not lying. She knows what we've been doing. She's been letting it happen because she figured it's about time you got some action. She will tell me years later. We will talk about what happened before quite candidly. Before... Let's just pull the plaster off in one go. They start getting it on with each other and forget that I'm still there in the bed, or maybe they just don't care, and I leave the room and spend the night on the sofa, utterly devastated. eventually I'll be okay with the fact that I'm utterly devastated, because yeah, we called it off, but I figured I was worth a little bit more than what, an hour? If it had been anyone else, some other girl, but it was her. And she said she didn't care, but she obviously did. That's not even the problem. The problem is, the next day, we don't talk about it, and we never talk about it, and I forget that she even turned up. I forget that my sister, who would spend hours listening to me cry over my abject loneliness and do her best to convince me I really wasn't missing out, got into bed with us, fucked him. Did they fuck? Did I make that up? Why would I make that up? The fucking's not the problem. The point is, they broke my heart and never noticed, because I didn't say a word, because all my carefully accumulated insecurity was triggered and it stuck. See, you're worthless. She agrees with him and she loves you, so it must be true. This is where my moment was, where all my budding sexuality closed up despite all my desperate attempts. Desperate. That word will plague my consciousness. I will feel like I have it tattooed across my forehead every time I fall for some guy and he says, "Oh no, not like that. I just want to be friends." I'll be devastated, but I'll stop being surprised. Of course I'll finally figure out when I get my vaginismus diagnosis. Of course I shouldn't have been surprised. I did it on purpose, right? So we'd never get as far as the bedroom. So they'd never know how much I was pretending, even though I was only being myself. At this point, you might be thinking, dude, rough deal, but move on. I hear you. The point is, sex is so much more than what happens in the bedroom, and we carry it around with us, and the world throws it at us whilst at the same time forbidding it. And this night, that my body swallowed deep, that my mind must have just pushed out because it was just too difficult. This night, I don't remember until I see him again at my sister's funeral, almost 20 years later. And in that 20 years, I don't do anything with anyone.